500 miles are about to begin. But the race is already half over. The fans that crowd the Daytona International Speedway do not know this. They think this is the beginning of a giant contest. They are wrong. If you are going to win, this is the moment you must be halfway to Victory Circle. The long, long road to victory might trace its beginnings to a rough country road in Carolina. Although the Daytona race won't run for a month yet, Mr. Lee Petty acts as if he's already late for his appointment. If you ask the NASCAR champion, he'd probably tell you he was late. There's so much to do. In 1 year, Lee Petty has won purses of more than $40,000, mostly by being ready. The work of preparing for the new season goes on in a modern garage hidden away behind his North Carolina home. Lee Petty makes his living building and driving race cars. They must stand up through 15 or 20 races that age a car 6 years in 6 months. Long before the season opens, Petty, working with his son Richard, must prepare to run those races with only minor overhaul and repair. Together, father and son build their cars and build them well. Between them is the constant unspoken question, what did we forget? What can we do better? Last year, Lee Petty won the 500-mile race at Daytona, and his average speed, 135 miles an hour. Yet he won with only a yard to spare. Remembering this, they check everything again. Now, let's go racing. With 47,000 fans looking on, the slow pace lap on the 2.5-mile Daytona Speedway begins. This slow lap brings the cars into position, ready for the flying start. Defending champion Lee Petty is in the 7th row of cars, his son right behind him. Positions they earned by qualification among the fastest. Ahead of the Pettys, in faster cars, are Cotton Owens, Jack Smith, Fireball Roberts, Bobby Johns, and Junior Johnson. The Pettys are driving twin blue Plymouths, but Pontiac, Thunderbird, Chevrolet, Dodge, Ford, Oldsmobile, and Buick are entered. The pace car ducks into the pit area. There's the green flag. They're racing. Fireball Roberts, a number 22 Pontiac, is half a mile an hour faster than the others, and proves it, coming out of the first and second turns. He plants his foot on the floor, booming down the backstretch. Jack Smith, number 47, and Cotton Owens, number 6, right behind, keeping him honest. Let's see who can run hard, longest. The front runners are sorted out. Lee Petty moves into 8th place. His son is 10th. End of 1 lap. Official, 147.5 miles an hour. The field is spread out. A howling pack a mile long. Challengers begin to move through traffic. Jack Smith up from position 2, fighting for the lead. Fireball Roberts cuts a lap in 59 seconds to hold first place. That is 152 miles an hour. This is going to be an interesting 500 miles. Backstretch speed touches 167 miles an hour. And trouble starts fast. Four cars slide all over the track, and only luck keeps more of them out of danger. Caution signals slow the field. A year ago, the 500-mile race was run without caution signals. Now, after 8 laps, drivers may already be on the ragged edge of control. The track is clear. Throttles down to the floor. Jack Smith's Pontiac is moving at 153 miles an hour. Roberts drops back to third. Jack Smith, the leader, in a furious battle with Junior Johnson. The leaders are going wild with speed, but the Pettys hold back, 18 seconds behind. It's a hard way to race, letting the others run away from you, waiting for the mistakes they may not make. Cotton Owens blows a tire. This is the first major mistake, a blown tire by a front runner. The caution signal warns all cars to reduce speed, and the pit stops begin. Fireball Roberts and Jack Smith roar down the pit road. The tremendous speed is wearing down machinery and rubber at a terrific rate. While in the pits, Jack Smith's crew discover broken wheel lugs. Smith mechanic Bud Moore works frantically to get that car running again. Smith is paying for those 153-mile-an-hour laps. Mistake number 2. Fireball Roberts is passing the time of day in his pits. He's backing up, maneuvering number 22 behind the pit wall for repairs. With Owens, Smith, and Roberts in trouble, Junior Johnson takes position 1, but must refuel. With the leaders pitting, position 1 goes to Lee Petty, and a few seconds behind, Richard Petty takes second place. Junior Johnson changing tires. This takes time, and time is one thing nobody has to spare. Mistake number 4. Long after the other drivers have pitted, Lee Petty drops out of first place for fuel and a tire check. Richard Petty grabs the lead. The Petty pit crew is headed by younger son Morris, and as soon as the crew is done with Lee, they signal Richard to a refueling stop. Richard rolls in, calm as any veteran. Gets an okay on his tires, a full load of gas. Then he's away. The Petty crew runs off 2 pit stops like clockwork. Richard is out of the pit road, searching for the leaders. No mistakes yet. The Petty team settles down to a planned race, hoping their strategy will pay off. 2 early leaders, Cotton Owens and Jack Smith, are hopelessly behind after long pit stops. Roberts, who drove the fastest car in the race, is out. Junior Johnson is running fast, willing to gamble on extra pit stops. He and Bobby Johns are real threats. The running is fast, monotonous, difficult, and at any moment can explode into trouble. The driver, George Green, steers off the track, a cool head in a hot situation. He's getting out. He's all right. A broken fuel tank caught fire, and there's no stopping that blaze now. The driver, Green, is a member of the armed forces who flew from Germany just for this race. He can take an early plane back and still count himself lucky. The race is slowed as flames gut the car. When the green flag signals for high speed, Junior Johnson pours it on in first place. Lee Petty is second. Richard Petty third. Bobby Johns fourth. At 300 miles, 25 cars are out of the race. Blown engines, oil leaks, steering trouble, burned clutch, broken axle, and wrecks. Number 25 snags the guardrail on the backstretch and literally explodes. Caught by flying metal, Pappy Crane and Chevrolet number 58 spins out and rolls. Crane is all right, but Tom Herbert is injured and must be helped from the wrecked Thunderbird. The engine of his car was thrown 25 feet. While the track is blocked, another set of pit stops turns positions inside out. Junior Johnson changes tires again as Lee Petty roars in. Before the caution signal, it was anybody's race. 4 cars running together within half a minute of each other and 100 miles to run. Then, the mistake that can lose a race. Lee Petty, thinking the OK sign means his refueling is completed, roars away from the pits with only half a tank of gas. While Lee circles the track getting back to speed, Richard Petty makes his stop. Taking a calculated risk, 1 tire is changed while the car is refueled. And in the time it takes, Bobby Johns grabs the lead. Richard is out of the pits, and the crew call Lee back for that extra 10 gallons of gas that will carry him across the finish line. Slowing down again takes time. Enough time to drop the defending champion to 4th position. Johns in number 3 has been playing the waiting game along with Lee and Richard Petty. Running among the first 10, Johns slowly improved his position as the other front runners burned themselves out. Another car that can still run hard, Junior Johnson, car number 27, now is second. The Petty team is running 3rd and 4th, with Richard leading his father by 1 second. Their strategy broken by 1 small mistake each. The Pettys are running full bore, straining for top speed. There goes the leader, Bobby Johns, blasting into the first turn. Only 9 laps to go. And he's spinning! He's holding it! No, he's into the infield! And he recovers! He's back in the race. Coming out of the second turn, the rear window on number 3 tore out, and the rush of air lifted the rear wheels off the track. Johns was driving on ice at 152 miles an hour. Junior Johnson grabs first place. Bobby Johns, after his amazing recovery, is still second. There's the white flag. 1 more lap. Junior Johnson Chevrolet is first under that flag. Johnson is coming around for the last time. The checkered flag for Junior Johnson. Bobby Johns is next. And only 26 seconds later, Richard and Lee Petty cross the line in 3rd and 4th position. Junior Johnson wheeling his Chevrolet to victory circle after a great ride. Johnson was never lower than 5th position and threatened the leaders the entire distance. When Bobby Johns' rear window blew out, Johnson was only 6 seconds behind, both cars running 151 miles an hour. He beat the position 2 car by only 3 seconds, a 3-second margin after 4 hours of racing. Stock car racing, then, is not a daredevil risk and a wild adventure. Victory is a matter of cool thinking, a quick set of reflexes, and good equipment, which can stand incredible punishment. This is proven again and again during a racing season, but nowhere more forcefully than on the big tracks in the big races. When you speak of big tracks and big races, you speak about Indianapolis, Nowhere is punishment greater and rewards higher than at this giant Indiana racetrack that stands silent and unused for an entire year until the month of May. Then the specials come to town. Machines designed for one race a year, the Indianapolis 500. Each of the 33 starters are powered by similar four-cylinder engines mounted in light, rugged, tubular frames. There, the similarity ends. The cars are almost custom-tailored for each driver, and each mechanic has his own secrets of performance. Driver and mechanic together must work out the combination of man and machine that can win. Technicians, engineers, mechanics from all parts of the country gather here to test products with a single aim: still better performance. Although months go into the building of racing specials and practice at the Speedway begins 4 weeks before the 500-mile race, the mechanics still lack time. They work around the clock to build, change, modify, improve, rebuild. They are never done. Only time puts a stop to the search for performance. Time and the day of the race. May 30th, race day. The cars and drivers are ready as the biggest crowd Indianapolis has ever seen fills the giant arena to hear the time-honored words, "Gentlemen, start your engines," spoken by Speedway President Tony Holman. The fastest 33 cars ever to race anywhere, anytime, roll away from the starting line. Their average speed is 144 miles an hour. Top speed is estimated to be 180 miles an hour. 3 record breakers pace the field. Eddie Sachs at the pole position, Jim Rathman next to him, and further back, rookie Jim Hurtubise, who electrified the crowd in qualification by running 149 miles an hour on a track with turns originally designed for 75-mile-an-hour speeds. Off the 4th turn, back to the starting line on the front stretch, ready to run, and the race is on. Into the 2nd turn, chain lightning. Ward shows the way up the backstretch with Eddie Sachs passing Jim Rathman and taking 2nd place. It's Roger Ward out in front as they head for the home stretch. Troy Ruttman challenges. Ruttman blasts his way through, almost 2nd. He settles for 3rd position. 4 cars moving away at 141 miles an hour, a new record. After position 4, the field is strung out the length of the straightaway, hoping that endurance, not outright speed, will win the race. So evenly matched are these cars that an advance of a single car length in the straightaway is a dazzling victory. To fall back and be passed, a bitter defeat. The records begin to topple. Ward leads Sachs by a split second after 10 laps. At 20, Ruttman has the lead. He pushes the speed to an incredible 142.8 miles an hour. By lap 30, Jim Rathman, with Sachs right behind him, is averaging 143 miles an hour. Lap 40, Roger Ward again in the lead. He has traveled 100 miles in 41 minutes. The tension of the early laps is dulled by the ceaseless roar of the engines. Stunned by the flashing metal and the blur of speed, the fans try to follow the tides of warfare. 400 miles lie ahead. Then, the first pit stops for tires and fuel. John Branson spins. I came in too hot, he said later. I ran fresh out of brains. Branson motions his crew to set him straight and send him back to the fight. Roger Ward in the pits. Last year's winner of the 500 is driving a new car built by A.J. Watson, his mechanic. Ward was running at the top of the pack before his stop. 4 tires, fuel, and he's ready. He's rolling. No, Roger Ward has stalled his engine. Watson leaps the pit wall for the starter. Ward is helpless until his car is restarted as Jim Rathman and Eddie Sachs battle their way past the pits at 143 miles an hour. Ward hurtles out of the pits, aching to make up for lost time, 40 seconds behind. The hours wear away. The children lose interest. For the first 50 laps, excitement runs high. Then they are past caring, past thinking. This is the time of greatest danger. The drivers must redouble their efforts to stay alert through the long, drowsy afternoon. Then the machines begin to fail under the strain. Bettenhausen stands high in his cockpit to avoid flames under the hood. His engine tore itself apart and caught fire as he rode it through the 4th turn. But Tony stayed with the car. Tough Tony has been in 28 accidents in his long racing career. This one is barely worth noticing. Look out! Eddie Russo, intent on the competition, fails to see his tire is worn through. The tire reminds him. The yellow flag warns the other drivers of the danger. At the halfway point, 250 miles, 9 cars are out of the race. Troy Ruttman is giving up his car. Ruttman is the first of the leaders out of the race. The lead has changed hands 16 times, and strain on the pace-setting cars is terrific. Many of the fans are past caring and want to go home. And some of the drivers have lost heart in the race. Car number 10 coughs to a stop on the backstretch. The fuel pump drive failed, and $30,000 worth of race car goes home at the end of a tow rope. Jim Hurtubise can coax no more from his machine. While rival mechanics applaud his brilliant effort, the rookie rolls in. Rookie no longer. He has proven himself at Indianapolis. Eddie Sachs' crew raised the hood, and Eddie has only the crowd's respect as consolation. He struggled against faulty steering gear until he faced the wall at the end of the straightaway and found he could barely twist the wheel. I thought I'd quit, he said, while I can still smile. Only 125 miles left to race, and suddenly the track is charged with excitement. Rolling in for pit stops are Roger Ward and Jim Rathman, running in the same lap in position 1 and 2. Rathman, driving car number 4, has been second at Indianapolis 3 times, and he wants to win. It's a battle of pit crews as 4 tires are changed and Rathman is refueled in 21 seconds. But Ward is first away from the pit wall. Rathman's crew chief hears the roar of Ward's engine and slams down the lid on Rathman's fuel tank. Let's get this boy out of here. Only seconds apart, the leading cars are back on the track with 1/4 of the race, 125 miles still to be run. The crowd lets loose a tremendous roar as the 2 hottest cars on the track get up to speed. On the backstretch, Rathman closes in behind Ward. They're near top speed, but back off for the 3rd turn. Now, they're traveling. Here they come, wheel to wheel. Ward leads. Coming around again, Ward holds that lead, but Rathman pulls even, coming into the straightaway, and then takes position 1. A.J. Watson, Ward's mechanic, is up against tough competition himself. Watson built that race car that Rathman is driving, and here they come. Ward, with a tremendous burst of speed, takes back the lead as he roars past Watson and his pit crew. On the backstretch, Rathman dives deep into the corner, long past the point where they usually back off, and takes position one again. Rathman's crew cheers him on as Ward pulls even. Not enough. Rathman jams his foot down and turns a lap at 143 miles an hour to keep the lead. But suddenly, a new threat. Johnny Thompson is standing on the throttle, gaining 1 second each lap in a wild bid to capture the front runners. Rathman and Ward are flying, but Thompson is closing in. Thompson is only 8 seconds behind and gaining. Faced with Thompson's challenge, Ward takes the lead again. Thompson in the pits. The last car that stood a chance of beating Ward and Rathman is through. But Thompson's sensational run has changed strategy in the final laps. Neither Ward nor Rathman can dare stop now for new tires, since a stop by one will almost certainly give the race to the other. They have barely enough rubber left on their tires to carry them the distance. But Rathman is brave. Driving straight for the wall at 146 miles an hour, Rathman dives deep into the corner and takes back the lead. Rathman holds his lead, blasting through the turns, even though he can see the cord on his tire. Ward is slowing down. His tires are almost worn through. If you can't catch the front runner, there's no use hanging it on the wall. There's the white flag. Only one lap to go. Rathman in front. Ward drops back. Here comes Rathman, the bravest man on the racetrack, taking the checkered flag. Immediately slows down. His tires good for only 2 more laps. Ward, 12 seconds behind, finishes in second place. Rathman's crew is wild. His car owners, in their first attempt at the Speedway, have romped home with more than $110,000, the winner's share of the Speedway's record-breaking purse of $369,000. Here comes the winner, a 31-year-old builder of go-karts and owner of a speed equipment shop in Miami, Florida. This was Jim Rathman's 11th race at Indianapolis, almost 5,000 miles of speedway competition. This victory, together with Rathman's 3 second-place finishes in past 500s, make him one of the biggest money winners in racing history. Jim Rathman has at last reached the top of his profession. He has entered the Indianapolis Victory Circle. In doing so, Rathman established a fistful of new records and proved again that racing is America's greatest automotive testing ground. The winner and the next 9 cars to finish were equipped with perfect circle piston rings, the choice of Indianapolis winners for the past 11 years. Months of building, testing, modifying, improving, and rebuilding are ended. The race that was half over at the starting line has been run to Victory Circle. But as one race ends, the next begins. The results of 1 year's racing improves the next. The fans believe they've seen the end of a race. But there is no end. Racing is an endless circle. A circle of victory.